Good
Yo,
morning. Hey.
how
Good
you doing,
morning.
brother?
I'm doing good. Doing great.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful time.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're in the Bay Area right now?
Not really. I'm still at the same place. I'm in Hawthorne right now.
Hawthorne, Hawthorne.
Yeah, but we plan to move to San Francisco in August. It's
Oh,
everything turned better. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm hoping, man. By August, I think you guys should be good. So, yeah,
Yeah, I
man.
hope so.
So, bro,
Yeah.
I'm excited to have you on here, bro. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. A lot I want to get your perspective on.
Hmm.
But let's introduce the people that don't know you already. Um,
Yep.
Yeah, like where you from, your crew, or whatever you want to tell people about yourself.
Cool. So I'm born and raised in Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam. So really far away, about like 18-hour flight. And I started dancing when it's 2009 when I started to take it seriously. And my crew back then is X Clown. So people know it's MT Pop. So he's the first person who I dance with. And and then I joined another team. They're doing jazz, contemporary bass. It's called UDG Vietnam. Yeah, I joined them in 2014, and it started a big shift in my perspective. And then
Mm,
I do a bunch of like TV show and stuff, and I get super lost in my artistry because maybe the shift is too dynamic between like street dance and then the theater dance style and then the commercial thing, and I just want to disappear. And then I moved to the States, right? I moved to
yeah.
LA, and it's all about the mentality of trying to prove something. I'm just trying to, I don't know. I was lost, and I just trying
Mm,
to secure myself with something. Yeah, something I feel safe with. So I feel like if I'm here, I'm gonna start over again and start do all research, and something. My path gonna be more clear. And then getting here, I get more lost
mm,
because it's so many things here. The source is crazy,
yeah.
and yeah, my path is crazy. It's keep changing, but right now I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the messy of it. I enjoying
Mm,
to be messy and then to organize it, and sometimes I intend to make it messy again, and
mm,
I love it. It's so hard to narrow down to introduce myself.
yeah.
I'm not really prepare anything specifically to introduce myself, but
Yeah,
yeah.
man. That's all it is. It's just a conversation, man. And the thing is, like, what was that when you were starting out in 2009?
Hmm.
What was that like? What did you see, and like why did you start dancing?
Cool. So, to be honest, I was dancing in a really young age. So I
Mm,
basically, knowing myself, have a potential to move better than like normal kids.
mm,
So I'm pretty good at copy people.
mm,
So I can see someone move a certain way, any type of movement, and I'd be able to like mimic them and make it like work for my own body. So in like grade one, grade two, I already like doing show at school, but until like high school, so I saw this guy, and back then the K-pop, K-pop,
mm,
the K-pop wave is hitting Vietnam very hard. And there's a guy named B Rain, and he's like one of the like he can dance, and he probably have money to like hire like dancer from the US to teach him and stuff like that. So my one of my friend in high school, he copied that guy. he copied B Rain and he danced at school. And I just
Mm,
look at him and I just admire him. I just like basically just feeling envy because I want to be recognized like him, right?
mm.
And then I just go back home and to search on the internet. I was born in the area that have internet already, so it's already hard for me to finding myself. It's so much out there already, so easy to get distracted, right? There's so
Yeah.
many cool stuff out there for me to look. So I the first person I watch is Salah, Mr. Wiggles. I watch a lot of Japanese poppers. Um, those shows like like Boogaloo versus Animation.
Yeah, yeah.
And Mr. Wiggles performed there one time. I forget the show name, but it's like everybody is master of their craft, and it's
Yeah.
just crazy. And and I start to like I feel like I thought I was one of the first popper in Vietnam at that time. That's what I
Uh,
thought. I was like, oh my gosh, I found like a secret. Like if I can
uh,
learn this and I show to my friend at school, I can beat the guy who trying to copy K-pop dance. Right? I was like, because this is so cool and I don't think nobody know about this.
uh,
So I learned like Nam Huynh Jun, you know him? Nam Huynh
uh-huh.
Jun. He have a bunch of tutorial, Mr. Wiggle tutorials. I learned I learned so fast. Of course, I don't have no one to coach me, so I thought I got the basic, and oh, that's it. And one day I learned maybe like 10 basic. I was like, take, I learned this, I learned this, I learned this. I just like put on my body,
Yeah.
like gear up, and I go to school and I just like showing my friend, and and some people join me. So in Vietnam is weird. In high school, we sleep, we take nap at school.
Oh, okay.
So at my school, I have a Vietnamese program in the morning, and we take nap for like 1 or 2 hours, eating and take nap. And then in the evening, we have English program. And I
Uh,
always skip the nap time to practice with my friend. And I
oh,
don't, yeah, and I don't even have a plan. I just basically we just freestyle. We just like laughing, just talking. We just dance. We just turn on our favorite music and we just dance without any goal or anything. We just dance, dance, dance. For like I doing that for like 3, 4 years.
wow. And
Yeah,
this was like in the kind of like late 2000s, so like 2005
yeah.
or something.
Yeah, it should be 2000, 2007 to 2009. That
Uh,
was the time I was like exposed to popping to like yeah, this language.
yeah. So
Mm,
then like that one of the things you said that struck me was I was in the area of Vietnam that had internet already.
yeah.
And what is that? What does that mean?
Uh, I feel like I've been dancing for I would say over 10 years or 10 years or so, and I feel like I just start to get into knowing myself.
Hmm.
Like maybe just this past month,
Oh,
um,
wow.
because it's so much distraction. Distraction is in every site. So I
Yeah.
look back and forth, and so because the internet, is just crazy. Everything you want is make us to follow, to try,
Hmm.
and that's why I say like I when I born to that area it's cool, but it's kind of dangerous too because I'm lucky that I'm aware of this is a distraction. This is can be overwhelmed, and I should take a step back and learning something uh inside myself, like my inner self. What is my core value? What should I start and start to make decision? But yeah, it's hard. It was hard. It was
Yeah.
so much going on.
So with the internet, there were other places in Vietnam that didn't have the internet at the time.
Yeah, but in my surrounding, all my friends they all have internet.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, in right now still a lot of area they don't have internet. Like in the countryside they still don't have internet. Or the internet is super weak. Or
Uh-huh.
they basically just yeah. And they don't even know what to search. So maybe they just watch some like funny videos or stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, because even when I went to Vietnam, I think it was 2015, maybe
Hmm.
14. Uh, there was I was mainly in the city, so all there's cafes everywhere, and they
Hmm.
all have Wi-Fi. And because I actually didn't even have a phone there, and I would just go to the cafes to use the internet to communicate with people.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's crazy. So then, when in 2009 you said you started to take it seriously, what did that mean? What were you like? Now you felt like, okay, now I really want to pursue this thing and make it a career.
Yeah, that's mean that is the period of time that I joined X Clown.
Mm,
And then I have a schedule to practice. It's not about today you feel like you practice, you practice. Because xCloud is pretty strict. We practice like 6 day a week, and every day we practice like at least 4 hours. And
wow.
we are like trying to make a statement about hip hop can be something intellectual. We like a band um uh cursing. We are banned to do any kind of drugs. I don't know. Our leader, you know him, Dodo.
Yep.
He really want us to be like a good example for the society. We're still doing hip hop.
Mm,
Yeah, but it's a wild trip. Like right now, I'm not even considering myself a hip hop dancer or like doing anything um right related. I mean, kind of, but like I have to always double thinking if I use the term hip hop for myself.
yeah, yeah, because
Yeah.
it comes with like a lot of story and history and all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's the tough part, man. And I've been talking to all these people. And I always struggle with the fact, especially like when I'm teaching somebody for the first time, how
Mm.
much do I really tell them about the politics and the definitions of words and where things come from? Because at first we kind of want to like when we want to dance, when we first start wanting to dance or move, we just want to do like we want to do a movement that we think is cool. We want to listen to music that we like, and uh, we don't even know what it is that we like truly yet. So then you start to throw in all these politics of words like, oh, you can't call it this, you got to call it that, and um, it's another world to become more like politically correct to use
Mm.
these words rather than
Yeah.
like looking within yourself to try and find what you like.
Yeah. I feel like the only thing that I can fully in control is my body, right? And I don't want to be a slave of a style, right? I
Mm,
mean, I'll look at a style, I dissect it in many different perspectives. I look at it like aesthetics wise, technical wise. I take it like the purpose of a style, why is it look like this, why they make the choices, and why I like it. And then when I put it in my body, so some of it I just take the technique, but I deliver it my way.
mm,
And in the end, I just want to create.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just a back and forth. It's just like a relationship with your parents. It's like
mm,
it feels secure to have someone tell you what you should do, what is right, what is wrong. but it's you need to be balanced. Sometimes it's the time to moving out, to move out and do your own stuff, and then you should visit them, and then you're taking care of them.
Mm.
So that's how I look at it.
Oh, that's good, man. That's really dope. Yeah. Yeah, because your parents are like looking out, trying to look out for your best interests, but at the same time, you got to be yourself and find
Yeah,
your own way. Yeah.
right now I'm just driving my practice just beyond my curiosity. I just want to express freedom. I want my movement. They look at it and they can feel I'm feeling free. But
Mm.
if I'm too busy of demonstrating technique or those foundation, um, which have to be connect to music, it's too many limitations. It's too many limitations. I don't feel I look free. Even
Yeah,
though even though I can open my arm or like split my legs, I'm still cannot look free because I'm demonstrating something. I'm proving something.
yeah. Mm.
When you don't need to prove anything. That is when you're free.
Yeah. That's true, man. Yeah. So many of us are slave to different things, whether it's the approval of our community, the approval of our parents, and uh, even when it comes to, like, for example, I was teaching a class this morning and I was teaching
Mm,
snaking and Cobra,
mm,
and there's kind of like a way that you're supposed to like, oh, this
mm,
is how you're supposed to do the Cobra, and
mm,
um, then I go, look, guys, I'm teaching you a technique. I'm teaching you
mm,
all these, like, okay, you got your shoulders, your chest, your head, your
mm,
hips, your legs, your
mm,
knees. All this stuff is synced up. And then you can start to separate them. But I go, look, all this stuff is techniques. But at
mm.
the base of it all was a mindset to mimic a snake.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you could erase all this and just watch the snake and imitate it move, and your body will start to do things naturally without thinking about this shoulder has to go back while this
Mm,
one is going the opposite direction, and then your chest rotate, and then it's
mm,
like too much to think about. But if you just like take all that information, it's good to practice these isolations, but
mm-hmm.
then bring it back to the mindset. Okay, I'm trying to imitate a snake.
Yep.
Yeah.
I, I like that mindset. I always um enjoying complexity. That's why I like popping because it's so hard. It's so hard, and I want to do something that like when I show somebody, they just can't copy it right away, right?
Mm,
Because popping is so hard. You cannot practice a pop for like 2 days. You have to practice for months, and then when you show somebody, it's just like either you're gonna sacrifice a few months to practice it, or you're just gonna look at me and and enjoy it. So
yeah.
that's how I start. I like the complexity, but right now I also align something that just like some base foundation of just movement. Like
Mm,
I go back and forth. It's like a mountain. Like I enjoying learning something really basic, like how to walk and how the walking, um, how our body walking and how it related to dance. And then I go into like complexity about like animation, timing, and about texture and all that stuff. And I just enjoy and go back and forth to just refresh myself and to look at in a different view. I learned from this one guy, and he blew my mind. His name
mm,
is Jermaine, and he's talking about walking and how the opposition between our shoulder and our hip, right? Our hips,
mm.
and we are all the master of walking, right? At this age, we should be master of it. Without thinking, we can walk, we can drink, we can do whatever we want, we can talk. Um, and at the same time, we're carrying our weight forward, right? It's no more uh, just up and down. Is forward, and also how we where's the force? The force happen and it's happened the swinging. The swinging, we don't intend to make it swing, but um, little or a lot, it's still swinging. And how our eyes direct our direction, and how when we fall, our feet ultimately catch ourselves.
Mm,
So we and how our feet roll on the floor. So we are already super complex in our daily life.
hmm. Yeah.
And if we just aware of that and kind of play with the mechanical view of it, just playing, well, maybe extend the walking, playing with the order of how your body walk in opposition, is already so much to do. They're already happening, twisting is already, bending happening is already, carrying weight through space. So that is a lot of time I'm learning classes or experiments with those kind of like idea of like really basic, like that we already have. We just need
Mm.
to remind ourselves. And sometimes I go to like specific style, so I can like being human a little bit and being some type of like, being serious about, like being an expert, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're a movement scientist, man. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like for me, like there's like a drill that I was doing recently, and I got the idea from Crump, right? So uh, I was talking to Baby Tie Eyes about this, but I was like, how did you guys start to become like more animated without
Mm,
any like real knowledge of like the
mm,
technique of animation, right? Because like I come from Tableau, where like 6 months after I started to know like even the anatomy of how to do these things, like real specific shit.
mm,
And but then I was like, how do these guys like in Crump not have that same information but still be able to do it crazy and even different?
mm, yeah.
So I asked him, and he said like, well, initially they were doing like uh to dime stop. What they would do was just grab. So like they would go boom, 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 but they would
Mm,
hence like grabbing,
mm,
and I was like, oh, okay. So then I started to play with like
mm,
the ability to like take like imagine you're holding chopsticks or you're trying to like grab a fly, right? And
mm-hmm.
so to make it like lighter and faster, you like squeeze, squeeze, squeeze just with your fingers. So it creates kind of a
Dope.
lighter texture opposed to like the full body. So like with this, you can see like my whole arm is tensing to do that. But if I start
Mm-hmm.
to just do this, it becomes more like just in the forearm, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
grabbing points in space. So I imagine a fly, and then like all of a sudden I can move
Mm.
quick
Yeah.
and stop. But if I tell you like, okay, I'm gonna have to, what you're gonna do is you see these muscles that surround the shoulder, you got your lat,
Mm,
you got your chest, and actually
mm-hmm.
you're gonna be trying to flex it. It becomes very difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So how many times when we record ourselves freestyle and we catch ourselves falling and we move so fast, even faster than we ever train, we already know how to move fast. We
Yeah.
just need to be learning our instinct movement and make it more aesthetic wise, more in what our how we prefer to look. But we have
Hmm.
to allow ourselves to make ourselves available for every type of like information. Because if we already stop ourselves of being creative or being give ourselves like a dumb task, like what you're saying, catching a fly. Some people are like, that is not dancing. But
Yeah.
if we allow ourselves to think that way, to put ourselves in that situation, we might move really fast and sharp. And like I see, like my wife, she never do the shake, right?
Uh-huh.
But sometimes when she just making fun of me, and they think about, oh, let me shake like you, and she do it like as good as myself.
Yeah.
Or when I
And you're like
I was
training
like,
it all the time.
I've been watching like when I fly with Jordan to Vietnam for like first like 6 hours. I watched movie and I shake for like 6 hours, and she was like just making fun of me and have the same quality. Yeah.
Oh man, I've had that too where like sometimes where I'll be teaching somebody how to wave and
Yeah.
I'll say, okay, now just do it slow, right? And then they start to go like, and I'm like, what? Like I just told you to slow it down, and they're like crazy vibration through the entire wave, and I'm like, they're like, oh, I can't do it smooth like you. I said, you don't need to. Look, you already were there. That's your
Oh shit,
style
that's
now.
funny.
Like they can just be like crazy animated. And even like people when I teach this sort of stuff, um, without the block in the brain of like, okay, how do I do this? Or like the things that they're thinking about doing with their body, they just imitate and they can do it better.
Yeah, I think the point is to go in and out of
Mm,
that zone. I mean, be able to be an you can instruct someone, you need to how to break it down. But sometimes when you just want to, you know, to make it happen, sometimes you don't need to think that much. You need to
yeah,
take it like lighter, like less serious. Like
yeah.
I always tell myself, you don't need to be that serious.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. I have
I
a
think,
whole, yeah. I have a lot of changes. My change. I'm afraid to show up. I'm afraid to share because the changes is happening for me is daily. My thought. I'm gaining. I'm learning like a like a sponge, and I'm afraid like what I'm saying right now I might disagree next day.
oh yeah, no, for
Yeah.
sure. The cool part about it though is that when you share throughout your journey, like for sure, like when I used to teach like years ago,
Hmm.
my ability to teach now is so far superior. Um, and like also just the amount of knowledge of movement that I have now, I would never teach the way I used to. But
Mm.
does that devalue what I gave those people before? Um, I think it's really important to share throughout your journey because it's also self-educating, but
Mm.
also like um, every time you speak and every time you share, it can reach a different person in a different way, depending
Yeah.
on the timing of when you deliver that message. I always make the kind of comparison to like when you're walking down the street
Mm.
and you're in a bad mood and you like walk past a person and uh yeah, they're forever a stranger. But then
Right.
you walk down the street, you're in a good mood, you say hello, you start up a conversation, and then 10 years later they're your best friend. It's
Hmm.
like it's all about timing when that message gets received. So it it
Mm.
may it's not always about uh it's not always about being like a perfect message, but rather just a conversation that you continue to have with people and yourself.
Mm. I'm totally agree with that. But
Yeah.
like I say, born with the internet era is kind of stopping me to be vulnerable and to be like broken and be able to share that. But I'm learning, and you know what? I give myself assignment to be able to show myself more, to be okay with not to be incomplete.
Mm,
Like I give myself like when I came here, I was like, okay, everything is go right. I'm gonna go to all these places, meet all these people. I'm gonna be, I'm this character. I'm like I'm gonna show up like this. And then I'm just stressing out of follow that assignment. And I was like, now my assignment gonna change. It's gonna be I don't care. It's gonna be a little bit careless about how I want myself to be, and I just be. So
Mm.
it's weird. I and it's work for me,
Mm.
and it's a period of time I don't care about what I take less time to choose what I will need to wear in the morning to go to school or to any occasion. I just gonna wear this.
Yeah.
I just make decision without too much stress. And I was like, what? This one time I shaved my head is just because I like the look. I just want to be careless. Just
Uh,
my own assignment.
um,
I gonna shave my head because you know what? I mean, I was born in this form, right? And what about I don't care about this form anymore. And I'm just being the most simplest thing ever. And I just want to see how it feel. And you know
mm.
what? It's a lot of raw emotion come to me. Um a lot of things I never think I'd be able to do. A lot of things that I feel like I'm so scared of how the outcome gonna look like. And it's just by my appearance, I take it lightly, in a lighter way. I don't care about my appearance that much. I don't care about how people look at me. Even I have there was a period of time I gonna post thing every day, and I don't care it's good or not. And I was like, it's feel pretty good to accept who you are and where you at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the same mentality I had this year too. I made a commitment, even though I didn't want to post like footage. I think it was, I didn't post much footage until this year of my dance, and then I just started putting out like footage all the time. And
Mm,
part of it was just accepting that it's not perfect, and also accepting the fact that like the big fear of like somebody copying your movement or something
mm,
like that was also a reflection of an insecurity or a lack of belief in myself that
mm,
that I wasn't valuable beyond my movement.
mm,
And that's, I think, something that it's a deep insecurity where you think like, okay, the only thing that I really have to offer is my skill. And
mm.
I think people go much deeper than that. If you can disassociate your value with how well you perform, you really
Mm.
start to free up your mind quite a bit.
Yeah, that's very true. Because I was so lost in the beginning. I watched all those video on YouTube, and I try to dress like them. It was
Mhm.
weird. I dressed like a hip hop artist, right? My shirt was like long into my knees, but my sister was watching K-pop, so my hair looked like a K-pop artist. I look so okay. I look like a mess, and I was take so much time to think about it, to choose, and I was like, let's just be simple. Let's just take less care, and maybe I can find something that I comfortable with.
Mm.
So far, it worked for me. I'm being because um yeah, I'm a silly guy. I was a clown when I was a kid in the class, and when I grow up, my insecure like take over me, and that person kind of go away. But right now, I just want to be take everything lightly, and yeah. So one of my the keyword in my dance right now is just being silly. Yeah, being silly, being wild, being free.
Yeah.
Um, yep.
Yeah, man. That's so, I think that's something that we forget how to do as we get older, is to be playful. And
Hmm.
that's huge, man. To have those words as part of your vocabulary is like, uh, my goal is to be wild, free, and silly. Like the words silly or goofy, like to use those
Hmm.
words. Like even when I'm thinking about doing like being goofy with my tuts, like I'm
Hmm.
gonna have a whole new movement just
Yep.
by thinking being goofy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. I learned a lot. Like the way Chrome they have their own hand gesture, very specific about
Hmm.
the fist and then the point and then this. I wonder like why popping cannot be that controversial.
Hmm.
Like if we're talking about, yeah, right now I'm trying to experience gesture in my
Yeah.
dance, like human gesture,
Hmm.
something may happen in a daily. Uh,
Yeah. I was
because
talking
we
about this with somebody else, like as far as like why popping is kind of like stopped evolving. It feels like these other styles, and the only reason I say that they're excelling past it popping is because they lack the ability. Like popping is not, we're not encouraged
mm,
to like use these gestures and
mm,
like character with the face. It's like we're hiding behind our technique, and it's not allowing
mm,
us to evolve as a style and as people. I feel like
mm,
we kind of um, put down things that are less technical. We say they're like not as raw or something, you know. It's like, oh, you're being a performer or a clown or something like that. But um, I think in general, if you zoom out of like the traditional mindset, I
mm,
think it's so powerful to express with your hands, your face, your postures. Like
mm-hmm.
Crump makes that their foundation is like postures and gestures. But what is popping? It's just like positioning or like movement.
Yeah. Mm. I don't know how to express this, but like when I start to do popping, I want to do something like unreal, right? As far as the human form. But right now, I want to do something unreal, but it's I want them to still recognize I'm a human. So by doing that, um, so it's like it's not a one-way thinking. So I want to be unreal, but I want to be kind of human.
Mm,
So and the human, if I want to do that, I want to have something related to the society, to the life, to so maybe some society issue or like some my own issue as a person, my role in the society. So my dance is not about movement that much lately. I'm trying to put something personal in my dance,
mm,
and that come up with the interesting in choreography for me. And the choreography is, I think, something missing out in the street dance world. It's not
mm,
just about putting movement together. It's not about just composed movement. It's more than like you deliver something, a part of yourself. You left something. You left some of your mind or your heart in the earth.
mm,
So yeah, and it's so many. Choreography is a crazy word. Is a beautiful word. It's really complex, and to be able to study that at school, yeah, I mean it changed whole my goal. I came here to
mm,
trying to study about popping, like that's what I'm trying to do. But when I go to school, I was like, it forced me to study myself, and then the style second.
Mm,
Yeah, because to choreograph something, you really have to take your time. You really have to take your time to think, to double choice, to erase it and choose again. It's not, it's like improvise. Like our dance style, is more like a social dance, and we don't need to require too much complex in the information. Like what happened in the moment and feel good, and mean something to you at the moment, you do it. But with choreography, it's about something you want to change, like something you want to make a change.
mm,
It's something like serious,
mm.
or something not serious, but you want to do it in a serious way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with choreography, the yeah, because when you look at freestyle, it's very complex if you try and make it into a choreography, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lady. She have a improvisation choreography. That is her style.
Ah,
Yeah,
so
that's she one of the pioneer of more modern dance.
so
And what
so
she yeah
does she takes like a freestyle and then puts it like tries to recreate it through choreography?
yeah her goal is people look at her choreography and look like she's freestyle,
Mm.
but it's all choreography. She memorized all of that.
Wow. That's
Big
crazy. What's her name? You know?
uh yeah no Isadora Duncan. Isadora Duncan.
Isadora.
I Yeah, she's like the pioneer. And yeah, it's a lot of name. And in the modern world, everybody have a purpose. And the purpose is not is crazy. It's like one guy is about male can dance. Like they have like this controversial about male and female and how they use their body, and how body touching each other back then is something really, um, really not acceptable for two guys hugging or lifting each other, or like go
Mhm.
underneath each other, stuff like that. And there's some purpose that very human.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like human nature, right? Like there's certain things why men feel uncomfortable moving in certain ways, you know?
yeah.
There was a really weird experience like I had when I was doing a lot of the FRC stuff, and I
Mm,
was really exploring like my hips
mm,
and really trying to increase the mobility in my hips. But I
mm,
realized like I was like feeling my body, right? So I was like feeling around my hip and trying to like get underneath my hip and like feel where certain muscles
mm,
were. And I remember feeling so yeah, like uncomfortable, you know? Like dang, I haven't even like really touched my body in that place before, you know? And I'm just
mm,
like, really trying to understand my hip. But that just goes to
mm.
show like how much as men like there's certain areas that of our body that we just don't even really explore or navigate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's just a role we born on. We put on this world is stopping us. So right now, the boundary between genders, I'm trying to put it away. Like I trying to find satisfaction when I dance. So some of it might look a little bit feminist, but in the end, we are all human, and all form of movement is beautiful, as long as it has purpose, and it's from your honest, from your honest self.
Yeah.
So it's you. The more you put boundary, the less freedom you are, right? And it's outside of this world is it's too much rules already. Like it's so much rules already. If you be able to choose your what to do with your dance, I'd rather put a little bit less rule. Like if you already have certain techniques to practice, so some mindset of how you deliver it have to be less rule. Like cut
Mm.
off the walls. Because I was just at many point I was like, oh, this move, oh, you know what? It's look a little bit um like feminist for me. So maybe I do it this way. So I just skip one variation of it. If I dig deeper, maybe I can come up for like 100 more variation.
Yeah.
And it's I might feel something else. So I taught
Mm.
an online class to Vietnamese community in Vietnam. And one of my exercise is after I teach a bunch of like technique, I say like now doing it like you are wearing heels, like you are like you are like a lady. Just do our technique, but like you are a lady. You're wearing a dress and you cannot really spread your legs that much, and you trying to demonstrate that this technique I just gave you. And you
Mm.
know what is really different, you know.
Yeah. What was their response to that in Vietnam?
Um, they I demonstrate for them first, right? And you don't need to act complete like a girl, you know, like you can filter, you can water down, how much you're comfortable with. But they like it. They say they never feel this way, and they say that uh, they just say the sensation that the movement gave them is more specific, more different. It's like one time you say when you dance, you want to be really specific about the environment, the feeling, like the outfits and all that stuff. And sometimes I put myself like the character doesn't need to be a monster or like an octopus something. I just want to put myself something human.
Mm.
That was like some part of myself is like that.
Yeah.
I have some feminine part in myself.
Mm.
Like a male role, it's just so frustrated for me. Like
Mm.
I'm not sure I'm calling myself like a macho man. Like, and you know what? That is so frustrating for me to prove that every day, you know? So and I want my Dan to talk about it. I want my Dan to be less proving.
Mm.
So not even less proving the technique, is less proving about my role, like who I am in a daily basis.
Man, that's so deep, bro. Like, I think it's super important, and I don't think, in the street dance world, this is something that's really not explored. There's so much conversation happening about how to do something correct,
Yeah.
and not so much conversation about the deeper experiences you can have with your movement. Uh, and I think that's the crazy beautiful thing is like that you've gone to explore that and see outside the world you kind of came up and knew, but there were certain
Mm.
moments that like a light bulb went off and you saw that movement could be so much more. And like to take your life story and to integrate it into movement, that's how these dance styles formed. That
Yeah.
that's the when we talk about, like, I talk a lot about history and OGs and this type of stuff, and
Hmm.
but I'm more fascinated by the mindset and the
Mm.
culture that created what we do. And I think what you're talking about, it sounds like you're about to be you're gonna be like a pioneer of a new thing, man. That's what it sounds
No,
like.
man. Yeah, it's the thought about being a pioneer or make a change is after I'm been doing so much research, it make me a lot of doubt about what we're doing is basically just, just it's pretty still behind a lot of things that have done.
Mm.
Like I just want to shout out to this amazing guy. You know, William Forsythe.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So, if I look at the European hip hop style with a lot of point and lines, mindset, when in freestyle, William Forsythe would figure out that thing in 1994, and he already put that improvised technology on YouTube about how he using lines and point. Basically, it's fixed point. Basically, it's fixed point, and
Yeah.
he approached it so clear. He already so clear about what is fixed point and how many ways you can play with fixed point. And it's still a very like it's pretty new for me. Like I just know about like those information since I like when I met you basically,
Mm.
and the information is already there. It's like kind of like long time ago. It's
Mm.
almost like 25, 25 years ago.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's old. So your first exposure to like fixed point was when you met me, or
I would say a little, but I would say when I met you is when I'm like really know the name and how much you can play with it. Because maybe I know about fixed point, but just like through like a group choreography. So it's just
mm,
like let's do this. But I don't know it's the concept.
mm,
Like I
yeah,
just thought it's a one way of moving when you approach to this movement. But it's a concept that's like it's limitless. You can go on and on with it.
yeah. Whether it's a fixed point or moving through a fixed point or moving the fixed point around.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's so many stuff, and even fixed point lines, but people missing out surfaces.
Mm,
So surface is crazy. People don't. I just feel like you're missing out a little bit because
mm,
fixed point is just like this, and line is just like this. It's like your
mm,
skeleton. But surface,
yeah,
I'm talking about, like 3D. You have your hand is already have one, two, three, four, five, and
yeah.
how you do that, how you interact with the surface, with what surface you choose on the other hand is already crazy. It's already so much. And he talking about surface on
Mm.
on here.
Yeah, and if you look back, like a lot of the fixed point uh stuff, even that,
Hmm.
you said this video was like 1994 or five or something.
Yeah, he figured out it's 994,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure when is the tutorial put out.
Mm.
But
Yeah, yeah, because like even people back in the day, like Steen, were playing with so much fixed point,
mm-hmm.
and like yeah, like the fixed point is also like, oh man, I've seen stuff that Steen did like in theater shows where like people are suspended in the air, and like they're rotating and all of a sudden they start
Mm,
to like walk upside down, like, and their feet are fixed point, it's like there was he was like so far advanced as far as like geometry
mm,
and fixed points,
mm,
even using props like canes and stuff and moving around like um but even the OGs in the Bay were doing a lot of like miming. But I think it comes all the way back to mime, right? But then the idea of like surface, it'd be interesting I want to see the video, but interesting to think about how William Forsythe was thinking about fixed point because he has more of a ballet background, right?
yeah, I don't think he ever, like, at the point he doing that clip, he from ballet background,
Yeah,
straight ballet background. So
yeah,
that is very interesting about how different community think quite the same. But
yeah.
there was one concept is crazy. Like, he basically having a duet with himself. So basically you dance,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And then you stop and just think about you get out of your own body, right?
Yeah.
But your shape is still there. And you can go through all of the negative space of your body, or you can like match with yourself, or you can carry yourself or adjusting yourself. And during the time you're so busy of playing with that imagination self, you look like a dancer. you so
That's so dope, man. That's such a dope idea, you know? Uh,
and that's how he choreographed. I mean, when he freestyle, it might not look amazing, but when he actually put in choreography, it might look something you don't understand, but it's gonna be so much different outcome that we never think of.
yeah. Yeah. See, the thing is, like, this is kind of my perspective, but which I might start doing in the street dance world because it's already being done in other dance movement forms. But um, I feel like the lecture format of class, right?
Mm,
To just talk and explain these ideas, draw them out, show diagrams, show like short video clips.
mm,
I think this
it's important. Yeah.
is super important. And I feel like, right now we're in this world where like, oh, you teach a workshop and I got to sweat. And, you've been to like even my classes in Vietnam, there's probably times where I talked half the class at least.
Yeah, almost like a lecture class. But
Yeah.
yeah, because yeah, I feel like you only can learn when you are teaching yourself. You just giving us some guidelines, and you back home, and that is the learning process actually happening.
Yeah.
Because no one can really teach you. So if you like have people they follow you and they trying to do anything, that they might not really learn anything. The learning process actually when they get home, take their time, breathe, and doing it again, and actually feeling it, question themselves. So that is why like when learning like actually starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the classroom, and the idea, like, man, it's got to be like kind of like a cultural shift. But even when I was first starting popping and people before me, a lot of the stuff that they would pick up was just visual. Uh,
Yeah.
but what
Yeah.
happened is that they created a narrative in their mind of what they saw.
Mm,
So they're creating a conversation like, oh, how did he do that? And then they try
mm,
it, and then they look at it and they're like, no, that's not it. Or, their friend goes, oh, I think he was doing this. Then the narrative, the story starts to formulate around what they saw. So in the same way, they are lecturing themselves,
yes.
you know.
They're
But I
lecturing
think,
themselves.
yeah, oh, hey, bro, this is about to end right now. I'm gonna open up another one.
Cool, cool.
All right.